Welcome into Boxing Scene's top stories on ProBox TV. Download the ProBox TV app. Never fall behind in your boxing news. Well, Mario Barrios defending his WBC Welterweight Championship on the undercard of Tyson Paul against Abel Ramos. Of course, the man who is a champ in one of the most storied divisions in boxing history is calling out Boots Ennis against Karin Chukadzian. A lot of people thought Boots looked a little bit vulnerable. Is it that, or is it the fact that Boots might be leaving the weight class? Jimmy Smith alongside Paulie Malignaggi, Chris Algieri. Paulie, is this hold me back while the guy is leaving the room? Boots Ennis didn't look great against Chukadzian. A lot of ways to break that down. I'll ask Chris about that. But the idea that the guy might be leaving the weight class, is this the time you call him out knowing you won't fight him? A lot of people think that.
You could take it as that. I take it as something a little bit different, though. When there's not a superstar in the room, and maybe you got one, like Jaron is not a superstar because he's been held back, but at day's end, he's the biggest name in the welterweight division, so you want to just grab him. You want to grab because there's not a lot of money flowing around the welterweight division, even at the very top, right? Not as much as there has been historically, where at the very top of the welterweight division, you've got millions and millions of dollars flowing. You got good money, obviously, as a champion, but it's not been the same as what the welterweight division brings in. And so you're looking for that opponent to bring that kind of money, especially if you have a belt and you're looking to cash in on it. You're like, man, I got this belt, man. I mean, I'm making pretty good money, but I want to make a lot of money, you know? That's what the whole point of having the world title is, right? So I think it's more so looking for that big opponent because the welterweight division is sort of lacking that, and Ennis brings that name recognition to a lacking welterweight division. It's funny because Ennis' name wasn't big enough for the former welterweights, right? They were all huge. Now, because everybody was talking about him as, you know, that ghost in the room, that 800-pound elephant in the room, you know, where it's like, you know, he's in there and nobody wants to notice him, but you can't help but notice him. Now he's become that guy in the weight class. And yet he's still sort of untested, right? At the highest levels. We've not seen him with the biggest names possible. Does Mario Barrios bring a little bit of extra name? Yeah, but even Mario doesn't bring enough to the table yet. I mean, he's pretty good. He's a known entity. So Mario's looking to make that marriage, so to speak, by going head-to-head against Ennis and bringing some notoriety. Me personally, doesn't really excite me. The welterweight division is not that exciting right now. And after the Ennis' recent performance, it's not that exciting either. Let me get Mario Barrios against Nicholas Flas. Let me get that after what I saw on ProBox TV last Saturday. I want Nicholas Flas against one of the top welterweights. And I get it. Ennis is a bigger name than maybe fighting Flas at the moment. And probably Ennis is leaving anyway, like you said, Jimmy. Let me get Mario Barrios against Nicholas Flas for 500 Alex.
That's what I'm talking about. Love you plug in ProBox. It was a great fight, by the way, if you missed it. Nicholas Flas looking absolutely outstanding. But Chris, let's dive in a little bit to Boots Ennis Chukadzian. The rematch of a fight that was a blowout the first time out. Is it possible Boots just wasn't that into it and looked flat? Is that a consequence of having to rematch somebody he didn't want to fight in the first place?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when all right, listen. So let's rewind a little bit with Jaron Ennis. So he is a guy who's avoided for a long time. He's the outside. He's the guy on the outside looking in, who wants to play with the big boys, but the big boys don't want him inside. So and that's Spence and Crawford. They get their fight, they go off. The division gets completely turned upside down. So Jaron Ennis, as the dust settles, he seems to be the guy that everybody's looking at to take over 147. Well, I think he spent too much time there because he's having trouble making the weight now. It seems the first thing he says after the fight with Chukadzian, he says, "Man, I think it's time to move up to 54." So he gets this signing with Matchroom. He fights who was the last one?
Chukadzian?
No,
the one before that. The one that Crawford knocked out.
Oh, Avanesian.
Avanesian. Fights Avanesian. Not a great performance either. Gets hit with some shots, but still gets the stoppage. Says I had some rust off. Okay, boom. Then he gets the Chukadzian rematch. No one's excited for that fight. The first fight was an absolute bore. He won every single second of the fight, and the guy pretty much ran the whole night. This fight comes around. I think he got caught a little by surprise. One, he wasn't that excited to fight the guy. He didn't expect much. He was just like, I'm going out there to knock this guy out. He's going to run away from me. We probably worked whole camp on trying to cut the ring off and beat this guy up and bash his body and get him out of there. Guess what? Chukadzian goes right at him. Makes it a very rough fight. Their heads are coming together. There's tie-ups. He still hurts Chukadzian multiple times throughout the fight. Drops him, I think, once or twice. So makes it a fight, but gets hit with a ton of shots. A lot of defensive lapses for Boots Ennis. Looked a little tired toward the end. which brings this full circle to Mario Barrios. I don't think he's calling him out because he's leaving and the fight's not going to happen. I think he saw what he saw in that fight with Chikadze and said, hey, if you get aggressive on this guy, he's open for a left hook. Who's got a great left hook? Mario Barrios is a hell of a left hook, especially to the body. And Barrios, he's already got 2 losses. What is he going to be? What is he protect? He's not protecting an O. He fought big fights. He's fought huge names. He fought Tank Davis. He lost at 140. Moved up to 47. He fought Keith Thurman, another huge name in welterweight division. Loses that fight. Well, okay, go fight the baddest guys around. He's like the oldest guy in the division in terms of champions. Is Mario Barrios. He's been around forever. This is like his 4th weight class. Yeah, he wants the biggest fights. I don't blame him at all. What else are we doing here, guys? We're prize fighters. You want the biggest fights possible. And unlike you, champ, I'm actually a little bit. I am like closetedly excited for 147 because I think there's some good fights there. Stanionis can fight. Man, he is fun. He is an aggressive guy. I would like to see him with any one of these guys. Mario Barrios, Jaron Ennis. I don't know how those fights go exactly. I think Jaron's the best of the bunch. But who knows? If he has a subpar performance, maybe he gets beat by one of these guys. You got Mario Barrios. Brian Norman Jr. is a little bit of an unknown. He's super young. Got his belt via email. Hasn't been with any really big names. Had 1 breakout performance. So it's still out about him. And also he's got some injuries apparently. But I want to see all these guys fight each other. And I think that there could be some more excitement around this weight class if we can actually make these fights happen. Problem is everyone's scattered promotionally, so who knows if we're ever going to see them fight. But regardless, if Jaron does hang out and he's able to unify, go to Mario Barrios, I don't mind. I'm into that.
Last question before we go. Paulie, who do you have number 1 at 147, provided Bruce Ennis goes up to 54? Do you agree it's Stanionis? Or do you think maybe Norman Jr. has a shot at being number 1?
Number 1 at 147.
Post-Boots.
Post-Boots.
No.
It's probably Stanionis at the moment. It's probably Stanionis. But again, I want Floss in there. I want Floss in there with all these guys. I'm telling you right now, Floss does damage.
Paulie, I love it when you're pushing ProBox.
And that's the thing. Bro, there's been a lot of guys on ProBox that I don't push. This is nothing to do with ProBox. The fact that he happened to be on ProBox is good, but
I'm gonna push
Floss,
back.
go ahead.
Because if you say Floss is too good, then he's really not going to get these fights. So what are we doing? Let's not push him too hard.
You're hurting the brand, Paulie. You're hurting the brand.
I'm not even doing it for the brand. Every time I've seen this guy fight, he's impressive. I'm like, all right, he keeps dominating this level. There's only one other level to go up, and that's at a world-class level. I got to see him at world-class level. I'm tired of seeing him at just under world-class level because he's dominating some really good fighters. So it's time to put him at world-class level.
Yeah, Nicholas Floss hopefully gets an opportunity at one of the big boys at 147 pounds, but post-Bruce Ennis, it is a wide open who has the talent to continue, hopefully, this Saturday, answer some of those questions. Could it be Mario Barrios? Is he the man at 147 pounds? Well, don't forget the watch-along is tomorrow. Mike Tyson, Jake Paul, turn off the audio, turn into ProBox TV, and listen to Paulie Malignaggi, Chris Algieri. So watch there, listen here. We'll see you tomorrow.
ProBox TV Contender Series. On December 7th, look for an all-out Irish war as Dylan the Real Deal Moran battles Tyrone the Mighty Celt McKenna at the top of a stacked ProBox-worthy card.
For more ProBox TV, scan the QR code on the screen or go to the App Store and Google Play. ProBox TV, your boxing channel.